If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. This has been on my to-do list for a few weeks. I saw this article on MSN, and I just thought immediately it would be something that would help those of you out there who are looking for ways to wake up a loved one, wake up a friend, or even just to have a good laugh. Because so many times on this channel, I talk about the illusion of freedom, right? Because there are a lot of truth channels out there. You might listen to them, you might not. But that believe in the left-right paradigm, right? They believe that this country is really a republic, that we're free, that our vote counts. They believe in some of the social engineering garbage that gets regurgitated, that you could be whoever you want and do whatever you want to do. Ultimate lies is really what they are, because it's all a scam. It's all part of a scheme. The great American scam, I like to call it. Well, I was somewhat surprised, but then I just said, you know what? It's not surprising. That MSN.com, about 2 weeks ago, in October here, they released this article talking about how competing brands are secretly owned by the same company. Now, I've talked about this all the time, right? The illusion of you can buy this versus this, and it's your freedom to choose between, you know, this Cheerio or that, this mac and cheese or that, this frozen pizza or that, this McDonald's or Burger King, right? This is all stuff that you don't think about, but it creates this illusion of freedom and a choice in this country. And then what we're told constantly is that we can be whoever we want. You could start your own company up if you want. And yes, to a degree, obviously you can start your own company. You can start your own whatever you want to do, but it's a monopoly. The whole thing is a monopoly, and all these companies are owned by the same people. And the reason that they have check down companies is because they want to create the illusion of freedom. Otherwise, they wouldn't even waste their time marketing and branding. They would say, look, here's your one choice of toilet paper. Here's your one choice of paper towel. But since we're a science experiment, this is what they have to do. So you're going to get a kick out of this, because even some of these companies I didn't even know were owned by the same. And I'm pretty aware that most of these companies are owned by the same company. Now, most of us are aware of the media, right? And how the same companies control all the media outlets. This is a little bit different what they show here, and it's actually pretty funny. So they talk about department stores, online retailers, between all that, American consumers have access to an overwhelming plethora of options for almost any product they wish to buy. Sometimes, however, these options aren't as varied as their branding schemes might indicate, as some companies practice multi-branding, running apparent competing brands within the same industry to soak up more of the market share. Now, this is stuff they normally wouldn't admit to. And of course, you're going to get these idiots out there who are like, well, this is a really good business plan and a good business model. Yet these are the same idiots that think, oh my goodness, you could do whatever you want. Yeah, I could start my own toilet paper company, right? I could start my own paper towel company. I mean, give me a break. It's all monopoly. So they start by talking about Expedia, Orbitz, Trivago, Hotwire, Travelocity. These are the companies that most people will book their travel through unless they do it directly with the hotel service or with the airline, right? And this is all, the Expedia group owns all the major travel fair aggregators and meta search sites that you use to plan your vacation, including Cheap Tickets, Orbitz, Travelocity, of course, its namesake, Expedia. And there's, you got to look at this and say, I mean, what a joke and what a scam, because otherwise they would just say, hey, you could book through Expedia and no one else. But again, they want the illusion of freedom. Then we get shampoos, right? Head and Shoulders, Pantene, Herbal Essence, Aussies, all owned by Procter & Gamble. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Procter & Gamble, and you've said to yourself, who the heck is Procter & Gamble? They're always talking about their stock. They're always talking about it, you know. I wonder who they are. Probably some bagel biters who obviously run and corner the market on everything because they control and run everything, and then they want to tell you again that you could do anything you want. So can we start our own Like, can I start my own laundry detergent company or shampoo company? I mean, give me a break. Then you get the laundry detergent right on cue there. Gain, Ariel, Tide, Downy, Bounce, and Cheer. Also all owned by Procter and Gamble. Boy, that must be a lucky coinky dink that they really cornered the market there. Then on top of that, Procter and Gamble happens to own Swiffer, Mr. Clean, Febreze, Puffs, Bounty, and Charmin. So you get all your paper towels, all your laundry detergent, and all your soap. Wow, they're really smart. Now, can one of us start our own paper towel company? I mean, it seems like it would be a pretty good business to start, right? Now, obviously, most of the zombies out there think of things like, well, I want to be a famous singer or a famous musician or a famous rapper, or I want to be a famous celebrity and act in movies. They don't go, I want to make paper towels. Huh? Well, if they were smart, they would want to make paper towels because they make a lot of money. But again, that's not the end game for life, making money. But if they were trying to get into a business or do something, but guess what? They're not going to let you in. You aren't starting your own Mr. Clean or your own Swiffer or your own Cascade dishwashing detergent. Yes, all of these owned by the same company, Procter & Gamble. Dawn dishwashing liquids. Like I said earlier, Febreze, Charmin toilet papers, and again, Bounty paper towels. Should we move forward? Johnson & Johnson, who I've covered, of course, they were nice enough to donate their time to try to come up with the vax. Yet Johnson & Johnson also known for what? And unfortunately that video got removed. But Johnson & Johnson known for stuffing chemicals in their baby powder that was causing ovarian cancer and getting sued over it. They also own Neutrogena, Aveeno, Clean and Clear. These are companies that Johnson & Johnson own. Yeah, you know, no big deal. Quinky dink again. How about this? You got a little cold? Not feeling so well? Tylenol, Benadryl, Neosporin, Band-Aids, all owned by the same company. They even say most first aid kits are full of Johnson & Johnson too. They have Band-Aids for fevers and pain relief. There's Tylenol, Motrin, Zitrex, Sudafed, and Benadryl. Boy, they are really smart people. There's not like, you know, these families who are rich and powerful, who control all the wealth, all the resources, and then all these products that we buy, because we go to the store and it's an illusion. Oh, I can get Benadryl or Sudafed for my cough. Oh, look, I have a choice. Yeah, you're paying out to the same guy. It's the same chemicals. It's part of the illusion. Budweiser, Michelob, Rolling Rock. I never heard of these. Elcyon and Goose Island. All owned by the same company. They merged with SABMiller to acquire 30% of the global market share, including, among others, Bud Light, Belgian Pilsner, Stella Artois, if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize, Beck's, and a couple other beer companies. So, you know, but again, you're picking your beer because you're free, and you're allowed to do that, even though you're paying for the same thing. Maybe one's got a little bit of a different taste in it because they spit in it. That's probably why. Stouffer's, Hot Pockets, Lean Cuisine DiGiorno, and Buitoni. I don't know what that is. But how about that? So Stouffer's and Lean Cuisine, which are right next to each other in the grocery. Oh, one's a healthy alternative. Ooh, the other's Stouffer's, which is probably the better tasting. Oh, guess what? It's the same crap. It's the illusion. These are all owned by the same company too, Nestle. How about that? The widely shared graphic from several years ago shows just how multi-branding is in the global snack food industry, dominated by the Swiss company Nestle. They dominate the freezer aisle with ready-made meal brands like Hot Pockets, Lean Pockets, DiGiorno, which is like just the worst, California Pizza Kitchen, Stouffer's, Lean Cuisine. You gotta love how Lean Cuisine, like people actually like, I'm having Lean Cuisine because I'm on a diet. Oh, right. I didn't know you could lose weight from eating pure crap. Last time I checked, Lean Cuisine, macaroni and cheese. It might taste a lot worse than Stouffer's, but it's still pure crap. You're not going to lose your man boobs, okay? Now we move on. Here's a few other ones. Yes, even animal food. Friskies, Fancy Feast, and Purina. All owned by the same companies. For a price, Nestle also feeds the world's infants and pets because Nestle also owns Gerber and Friskies, right? But whoever that guy Nestle is, right, he was just a really smart businessman. He earned his way to the top. I'm sure we couldn't look up his family roots and connections to secret societies and the occult. I'm sure his house is filled with black and white tile as well. He just did it the old-fashioned American way. Then we get Milky Way, M&M's, Three Musketeers, Dove, Twix, and Snickers. Now, everybody obviously knows that these are owned by Mars, really. Or they might be owned by Mars, but they're likely coming out of Uranus pretty quick. But Nestle's biggest competitor in the candy bar sphere is Mars, and Mars owns all these products, right? You get bubblegum, all the same company, right? You think you're not getting that aspartame in there? No, you're getting it with Orbit, Juicy Fruit, Double Mint, Big Red, Hubba Hubba, and Five Gum. So they own all that, and obviously if you aren't familiar with aspartame, sometimes I say it wrong. If you aren't familiar with it, you should become familiar with it because it's a leading cause of cancer. Then for dogs, we get Iams, Pedigree, and Whiskas. Although I think Whiskas actually might be for cats too. Whiskas is cats, duh. Whiskers. So Mars also does Iams, Pedigree, and Whiskas in addition to our candy, right? And Nestle does our candy and then does our cat food. Can't imagine if there's any cross-contamination there. I don't know. Last time I ate a Snicker bar, it did kind of taste like what I would imagine cat food would taste like. We have KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, all owned by the same company, right? Louisville, Kentucky-based Yum Foods. Their largest chain, Pizza Hut. Its largest Tex-Mex chain, Taco Bell. And that's why you see a lot of, I guess now, if you ever travel, or maybe it happens in your town, they have like Taco Bell's connected to KFC, connected to Pizza. They have all three in one. Smucker's and Jif. This guy was a brainiac, right? J.M. Smucker, or J.M. Schmuck, whatever you want to call him, because, he combined, he's like, hey, peanut butter and jelly, I'll just start both. Wish we were smart enough to think of this stuff, right? Then for ice cream, Good Humor, Breyers, Popsicle, Klondike, Magnum, and Ben & Jerry's, all owned by this same company. More illusion of choice. And I'm showing you this because it's the illusion of choice. Then when we get to social media, we have Facebook, Instagram, and the WhatsApp. We have Nike owning Converse, Adidas, and Reebok. For sunglasses, Ray-Ban, Oakley, Lens Crafters, and Sunglass Hut. What a surprise. You don't think that any of the things that are in, Oakleys or Ray-Bans might cause people to have issues with their vision, so they have to go to Lens Crafters, right? Because in addition to, fixing your glasses, I believe Lens Crafters also, does your eye checks and stuff like that to give you, glasses for your seeing. Ballpark Franks, Hillshire Farms, Jimmy Dean. Hi, this is Jimmy Dean. My products will give you cancer in the runs, I promise. You ever hear those commercials? Hi, this is Jimmy Dean. Then you get, this one's pretty funny. Occupid, Tinder, and Match. Because that's exactly what everyone who's going, apparently, on Match.com wants is somebody who's on Tinder as well, right? One company's offering hookups. One company's claiming they're offering long-term relationships. It's all a bunch of bullcrap. Wheat Thins, Triscuits, and Ritz, right? All the same stuff. The reason I'm doing this video is to show you, because I've said it a million times, all these companies own one another. It is all about the illusion of freedom. This mindset in America that you can do and be whoever you want is not true. And I don't care how talented you are. Now, people come after me and they're like, he's a famous YouTuber. I'm not famous. I don't even show my face. And if I wanted to be famous, I'd show my face and try to be a famous YouTuber. And it probably would protect my channel from all the strikes and things like that because I could go forward with lawsuits and things like that. But I don't. Because that's not what I'm here for. Not what I want at all in any way, shape, or form. But there's certain things that you can do. Yeah, you might be able to get a couple 100,000 YouTube subs. You might be able to make some music and sell some of it or have people listen to it on YouTube or listen to it on a website or iCloud or something like that. Yeah. But you think, you don't think somebody else came up with an idea and said, hey, I'm going to make paper towels too, because there's like 3 companies of paper towels. Everybody has paper towels on hand. What are some of the things that everybody needs? Toilet paper, right? Nobody was like, I'll make toilet paper, right? I can come up with that. It's all a monopoly. And the choice of the brand with the different name on the label, from food to Bounty to everything else to laundry detergent is there to make you feel like you're free and this is a republic. It's the great American scam. And I'm telling you this now because as we grow closer to fake election day, that's exactly what all of this is about. This illusion of freedom and order out of chaos, which is coming from all of the mind games that they played on the masses, who actually think come election day when they do this whole big fake thing where votes got thrown out and votes didn't count and who really won and Trump and Biden and Trump cheated and da-da-da-da-da. It's all to play you. That's it. They play you like a toy, like a Barbie doll. Plays with Ken or whatever the hell the example could possibly be. None of it's real. It's the illusion of freedom in America. Don't forget that. Share this with your friends if they don't know it. I'm sure most of you knew it, but it's laughable. It truly is, because every commercial you see is about how great our country is and how we're all just so lucky because we can do whatever we want. And we hear these regurgitated celebrities keep telling the mindless youth out there that they can, and they don't realize that they control the wealth, the resources, and nobody's getting in on any of these monopolized businesses at all. And none of these people are getting famous unless they're a part of a bloodline or if they're lucky enough, well, not lucky enough, unlucky enough that they let them in because they're going to have to make a sacrifice. And you know what that usually means. So it ain't happening. I want to thank everyone out there for listening to today's show. A reminder, check out the website at callforunuprising.com, $2.99 a month, well worth it over there. I want to thank the people who are there and thank the Patreons again. Again, I have the Teespring store that helps support the channel. There's new products coming over there soon, so check it out if you haven't. And I want to thank you guys who still are here on YouTube watching the videos, watching the ads. It helps this channel out greatly. And just thumbsing up the videos does as well. So share this information with your friends. You never know what might trigger someone's awakening. Hopefully stuff like this does, because it's pretty right in your face, and they don't even hide it anymore. And thank you again for listening. God bless all of you and your families.